Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you my floating text engine. It's a lightweight and modular floating text library for Unity that allows you to add custom behaviors to your floating text. It's also really easy to set up and super flexible. So let's take a look at the setup. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add an empty game object to our scene. I'm going to name mine floating text engine, but you can really name it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Then we're going to go over and add the component, which is floating text engine. This is the main class that you're going to be interacting with. It also takes a prefab, which is under the runtime prefab directory, and this is the text that we're actually spawning in the scene. So the first thing we're going to do is call floating text engine and grab its instance. It's just a singleton class, and this will be the one that you're interacting with. The next part is to call the CreateFloatingTextAt function. It has multiple overrides, but this one takes a position, a random damage value, and if the hit is critical or not. Let's go see what this looks like. So as you can see here, nothing's happening, but let's go do the fun part and add behaviors to it. So this is where the engine really shines. By calling the with method, we can start chaining different behaviors together. That's going to determine what our floating text is going to do. For this one, we're going to call the MoveUp, which takes in how many units on the y-axis to go and a duration. Let's add another behavior to it. This time we're going to go with a FadeOut behavior. This takes a duration, and that represents how long the fade is going to take to happen. Okay, so we're going to add one more. I might be beating a dead horse here, but we're going to add one more behavior, and this is going to be a color gradient behavior. This is going to lerp between two colors. You could use the color class from Unity, and also I've provided some color presets that you can use that are just cool colors, I thought. And again, this is over a duration. So let's see how it looks. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start clicking the training dummies, and you can see now that the move, the fade, and the color gradient are all going. This is essentially the whole gist of the engine, and there's a couple more features, so next I'll talk about delays and waits and show you what they do. The wait method is a way to flag behaviors and say, don't do any of the subsequent behaviors until I'm done. So we could see here in this example, the move up is flagged as a wait, so the color and the fade don't start updating until after the move is done. And next we'll talk about delays. As you could probably guess, delays are delaying the behavior. So they just take in a duration, and until that's done, then they'll go on to start their update. They don't, however, block any of the other behaviors like the wait does. It just delays that behavior that you're using the DelayFor method on. All right, and here's the demo scene. So this is just a sandbox scene I set up with all the behaviors that are currently in it. You can see the critical strikes going off. Yeah, this is just a way to mess around with all of them, you know, come up with different combinations. Right now, because they're hooked up to the UI, they have hard-coded values in there that I'm using. If you were to use them in your project, obviously you can configure them, you know, but however you want, different colors, durations, where they move to, all that good stuff. But yeah, I think it's a cool scene. It just shows you like what's going on. Over on the right side there with the drop down and the heal button, those are the presets that I have. So the presets were kind of an idea I had that was like, well, I think all of this stuff is going to be used for video game development, and there are some common things that video games have, you know, miss pop-ups, critical pop-ups, elemental damage. So the presets are kind of a way to say, okay, well, like a lot of this behavior is common, and instead of making these behaviors from scratch every single time, you can just use the preset class, and that's it. Just call it from there. So it's actually kind of just helpful. It's more of a utility, I suppose, and it'll make your code look nicer and all that. So, but yeah, so yeah, that's the presets. I don't know if I mentioned, but I mean, everything's using object pooling, Unity's object pooling. So from a performance perspective, this is actually really great. I've used it in a game that I'm working on right now, and I'll probably throw up a clip of that going too, or later. And yeah, so yeah, that's about it. I think this is really cool. I hope you guys do too. And thanks so much for watching.